Hello everyone. In last sessions, what we discussed the group variable, we discussed the host variable. After that, we executed our host variables as well as group variables. How we can create the group variables, how we can create the host variable. So we need to create one directory. In that one directory, we need to declare our variables, whatever we require. After that, we need to create inventory NFL. That inventory NFL we are going to execute all our playbook script. Then it will be check the sequence of the variables. First, it will be check the playbook variable. If we have the playbook variable, then it will be executed. Otherwise, we need to jump on the group variable. After that, we need to jump on the host variable. So, what is the group variable? Group variable is nothing but if we have the number of machines, those machines are in the group. So, we require the some variables. At that time, we have to go with group variables. After that, we have the host variable. So what is the host variable? Host variable is nothing but suppose if we have some specific machines, in that specific machines we require the some specific variables. Then what we have to do here? So we have to go with host variables. So today we are going to see our next topic, that is we can say called as a Ansible Vault concept. So what is the vault? Vault is nothing but so anywhere we can see the vault, then we can say called as a this is the we are going to store the sensitive data. Suppose if we have some application in that suppose if we install the DB machine in our system, then I required that passwords, whatever we require the credentials, those credentials where we need to the store, we need to the stored in our vault. Same like this in Ansible playbook, in Ansible Vault concept, whatever we have the playbook script, those playbook script I want to encrypt it, then we need to the go with Ansible Vault. Suppose if I'm having a one playbook script. That playbook script we have the some sensitive data. Otherwise, we can suppose suppose anyone can see my playbook script. So anyone can change my playbook script and anyone can execute my playbook script. So that's why we are going to hear the Ansible word. So this is the main advantages. No one can modify my Ansible playbook script. No one can execute my Ansible playbook script without my password permissions. No one can view my Ansible playbook script without password. So that is we can say called the Ansible vault here. So what is the vault? Vault is nothing but we need to the that playbook script converted into the encrypted format. What is the encryption? Encryption is nothing but we can say called as a data converting readable data converting into the unreadable format, that is we can call it the encryptions. What is the decryptions? Decryptions is nothing but so unreadable data we need to the convert it into the readable format, then we can call it the decryptions. So we have the two terms here, the one is the encryptions, another is the decryptions. So encrypted is nothing but whatever as per requirement wise we can convert those playbook script into the encrypted format. Then no one can modify it, no one can execute it, no one can view my playbook script. So that is the one advantages of the encryption. So let's see how we can create the encryptions here. So let me verify where I'm in. I'm in the Ansible user. So let me check how many files we have, number of files we have here. So you can see the install.yml file. This is the one file, this is the another file. So whenever I'm saying here the install.yml file. So let me install.yml file. At that time, I can read my files here. So I want to convert this file into the encrypted format. Then what we have to do here? So we have to go with Ansible Vault command here. First one is the Ansible, then Vault. After that, then we need to the convert that file into the encrypted format. So what we have to do here? Encrypted. So encrypted is nothing but we can say called as a we are going to convert it this YML file into the encryption format. So once we converted that file into the encrypted, so we are converting data from readable format to the unreadable format. No one can read my data without password. So that's why we can say called as a Ansible Vault here. Ansible Vault encrypt. Then what we have to do here? So we need to the mention our file name here. So you can see here the yes, it will be asked me the password here. So we need to the carefully password remember what we entered here. So you can see here the encryption successfully. So I'm trying to read that data. Then can we read it or not here? You can see here. No, we cannot read our file here. Earlier we can read our file, but right now can we read it? No, we cannot read it because we we converted this file into the encrypted format. So that's why we cannot see the data in my file. Whatever we have the data, we cannot see here. So I want to read it. I want to view it. So what we have to do here? Then we have to go with Ansible Vault. Then we have to go with view command. So view, after that my file name. What was the file name? Install .yml. You can see here the it will be ask me the password. If we enter the wrong password, then we cannot view our file here. I'm going to enter the correct password here. You can see here the once we enter the password, then we can see the our file script here. So this is the view command. Whenever we encrypted that playbook script, then we have to go with this command. After that, suppose I want to edit that file. Then can we edit without password? No, we cannot edit without the password. Let's see, we have installed. Can we edit that file? No, we cannot edit. You can see here the here also we can see the some numbers. So this is the encryption. So this is the unreadable. So can we read this data? No, we cannot read this data because we converted this file into the encrypted. Then how we can edit it here? So then we have to go with same command. Just we need to the enter here the edit instead of the view. You can see here the it will be ask me the password. Once we enter the password, then we can edit here the password. So you can see here the this is the our we can say called as a word concept here. Suppose I want to run this playbook script, then what we have to do here? So we have to go with same like this Ansible, then dash playbook, then we need to the enter the that file name, then we need to the dash dash ask, then dash vault password. So let's see. So I think this is the group variable files. Let me clear ls. So this is the file which we have the already encrypted. So let's see, can we execute this file? Can we execute it? Let's see, playbook. This file already I converted into the encrypted format. Then you can see the can we execute it or not here. I'm going with normal command here. Once we enter the normal command, you can see the error here. So we need to the enter the same like this. So what we have to do here? So we have to enter the that file name 02 web.yml. After that, what we have to do here? So dash dash ask, then vault, then pass. Then what we have to do here? We have to enter the password. You can see that once I enter the password, it will be start to execute my playbook script here. What we have the three commands here? We have the three command. So one is a view command. By using of the Ansible Vault view command, then we can see the my encrypted data. After that, I want to edit that encrypted playbook. Then we have to go with edit. If I want to run encrypted playbook, then we have to go with dash ask dash vault dash password. That is the we have the execution of the playbook script. So mostly we have the four commands in our Ansible Vault. First one is we need to convert that file into the encrypted format, so no one can modify it, no one can read my playbook script, no one can execute my playbook script without password. So that's why we can go with Ansible Vault. It depends on our requirement wise, because we know that so Linux is a multi-user based application, so anyone can access my data. So that's why we need to go with Vault concept here. It depends. If we have the requirement, then we can go with Ansible Vault here. So next we have the concept that is called as a role concept. So what is the roles? Roles is nothing but suppose any applications we require the some roles. Suppose if I'm using of the Flipkart application, at that time what we can say, this role, this Flipkart application we can say called as a customer application. And suppose some we have the admin roles application, then if we have the admin privileges, anyone can edit that data, anyone can upload the product, change the price, anything. But whenever I'm using as a customer, at that time can we edit it? Can we add the product in the Flipkart application? No. Same like this, roles is nothing but we we can create a number of roles here. So here roles concept is a different. So it is we can say called as a, it is not a related to the privileges, but if we writing of the more functionalities in the single playbook, then what will be happen here, it will be become a difficult to manage that playbook. So that's why we are doing the roles concept here. Suppose I'm having a 10 tasks. In that 10 tasks, first task is related to the I want a Java. After that, I require the Maven. I require the Spring Boot packages. I require the number of packages which related to the Java development process. Then we have the number of tasks. Then what we have to do here? So after suppose if we have the 10 tasks, that is fine. We added after some time we require the some packages which is related to our Java development process. Then is it easy to understand? Is it easy to modify that playbook script? No. So I want to become a more readable, more scalable. Then I want to become easy to manage that playbook script. So that's why we are going with Ansible roles concept here. So suppose I'm developing one application which is in our Java development process. Then what we have to do here? So we have to create a framework. What is the framework? Framework is nothing but so some we have the common methods, we have the some scalable, readable, easy to modify the all code, each and everything we can do in the framework, and we can say called as a semi ready-made code also in that. So that is we can say called as a same like this in Ansible. We have the roles. In that roles, if we have the more functionality in the single playbook, then it is difficult to manage that playbook. So that's why we are going with Ansible role concept. By using of the Ansible concept, we can break down the large playbook into the smaller chunks. Suppose if I'm having a 10 task, then in that 10 task, what we have to do here? So we have to add 10 tasks in one YML file. Suppose I required one handlers in my playbook script, then what we have to do here? So we have to create a one handlers concept here. So we have to create a one handlers directory. In that handlers directory, we need to create a one YML file. Suppose I required some template, then what we have to do here? We need to create a one directory. In that directory, we need to add a one template.yml file. So as per our requirement wise, we can create a number of directories. We can create a number of YML files. So same like this. Suppose if we have the more functionality, that more functionality I want to convert it into the smaller chunk. So then we need to go with Ansible roles here. So suppose I want to write it some playbooks here. Before writing the playbooks here, I'm going to create one project here, because what we have to do here, so we have to create some folder structure before going to create a role concept. Why we are going to with role concept here? Because I need some smaller chunks file to create a playbooks here. So that's why we are going to create it here, the roles concept here. Suppose I am going here, before going to create one before going to create a one role concept here, before going to create a roles here, I'm going to create one here, the one directory. That directory name is a Ansible. You can add anything, your project name. Once we created that directory, I'm entering in that directory. You can clear it, present working directory. Where we are in, we have the home directory, we have the user, then we have the one directory. That directory name is a Ansible directory. After that, I'm going to create a one folder here. That folder name is a roles here. You can see here the ls. In that ls, you can see the roles here. After that, I'm going to create a one role here. Then we need to enter one command here. That command name is a Ansible Galaxy. What is the Galaxy? Galaxy is nothing but we can look at it. We are giving the role at a global level permissions. So that's why we can say called the roles. So that folder. So already we have the roles here. That roles we created roles. In that directory, I'm going to create a one role. That role name is a web role here. Let me that role name is a galaxy and sorry, I miss here the answer. You can see here the let me check what happens. Ansible Galaxy. So you can add anything here in it, then roles, then web 01. This is mine. Otherwise, we can say called as a Apache. You can enter anything here. So you can see here the my roles are created successfully. So you can see here the can we see the any file here? No, we cannot see any files here. Let's see whenever use here the roles then tree. So whenever we using of the tree keyword, so tree is a nothing but we can say called as it is a command. It will be show the our folder structure. So you can see the when we enter the tree rows, whenever you use first time the tree rows, then what will be happen here? So you can see the command not found. Then we need to install that tree. Then how we can install it that tree? We need to install that tree here. Sudo. We know that sudo yum is a package manager. Then install. Then tree, then you can install here. So you can see here the nothing to do because already I'm in the already I install the tree packages here. So that's why there is a no required the actions here. You can see the tree roles. You can see we can see the roles here. In that roles, we have the Apache folder. Sorry, we have the roles directory. In that directory, we created our folder structure here. We have the role name is Apache. After that, we have the defaults in default main.yml file. Then we have the files in the handlers, metadata, task, template, then test. So test is nothing but whatever we are going to add it, then we need to the call it that playbook script here. Then vars also here. So what type of vars we have in the Ansible? Mainly we have the four types of the variables. Where we are going to add it, we are going to add in the separate folder. Handlers, where we need to the add it, we need to the add it handlers in our separate folder. In that folder, in that directory, we have the main.yml file. So in that main.yml file, we need to add handlers concept here. Suppose if we have the task, then where we need to add the task we need to add in our main.yml file. So let's see here. Suppose we cannot, suppose I'm saying here the Apache, then we cannot see here like this. What we have to do here? So you can see roles, then Apache. Sometimes sometimes by mistakenly we enter the role name, we cannot see. We need to the enter like this here. So I want to add the, suppose I want to install the STT packages. Then what we have to do here? So we need to the create a one task here. Where we are going to create this task? We are going to create this task into three rows. Where we are going to create this task, we are going to create a task into the main.yml file. Then how we can create it here? We add rows. You can use editor also. We can use the plain text editor also, that is called the nano command. So then rows, then my role name is here Apache. Then where we have the directory, we have the directory, that directory name. Then we need to the enter main.yml here. You can see here the, then we need to the insert that file. So just we need to the remove that comment here. So I'm writing here the one task here. So how we can write it here? We know that name. After that, let me name, then what we can say, install packages. You can enter anything here, install package. After that, my package name will be name. My package name will be stdp packages here. So stpd packages here. After that, what we have to do here? So we have to say like this present. What is the present? Present is nothing but we can say called as a, this is the latest one we are going to install it. Okay. So after that, what we have to do here, let me check state, then present. So after that, I'm going to start the services. So what is the services? I'm going to start that package and it's a name state started. I'm going to enable that one. So this is my playbook task script here. So I'm going to add it here. So let me exit that file here. After that, I'm going to create a one inventory INI. So what is the inventory INI? So inventory INI is nothing but we are going to create one inventory file. Whatever we have the managed node machine, that managed node machines we are going to configure in our host inventory file. So that's why already we discussed in our groups variables and host variables. So we have the same steps here. Sorry, I need to go enter here. Then exit WQ. After that, what we have to do here, then I'm going to create one file here. That file name is a site. What is the site? Just this is my YML file. Did we mention anywhere host? No, we did not mention anywhere the host. Where we need to the mention host, we need to the mention the host here. So that's why we are going to create one task here. So it's a host name, not a task. We can call it a. So each and everything we are going to create it the separate. So that's why we are going to create it the separate files. Install package. Suppose I'm using say here like this package here using my roles. Okay. After that, what we are going to see here the host. If you want to all, then you can select it all. Otherwise, you can remove it. After that, what we have the become here, we are giving the privileges to that machines pseudo privileges. So we can say call it a we are having of the pseudo privileges and we are going to execute that one. After that, my role name is a Apache. So we know that we need to the enter here. So what we have to do here? So we need to the here the Apache. Let me check here the yes. There is a no indentations issue here. The, okay. After that, what we have to do here? So we need to the I'm going to check the before executing our playbook script. I'm executing here the my connections are created or not here. If our connection created successfully, then we can suppose our test connection is passed here. Then how we can test it? Ansible, we know that inventory R is nothing but we know that interactive before going to any actions we can suppose as a interactive we need to the add it. After that what we have to do here? So inventory then make role name. So I think we mentioned here the all. Then we need to the pin. Unable to pass home inventory source. Let me verify my files here. So all we have. Let's see. My file name was web1. In inventory INI, we already given the web1. Okay. Let's see. Q web1. Let me verify it's a web1. Right. After that, I'm yum. Then we need to the ping that. So provided the host entities are local. Okay. Couldn't match supply includes script. Let's see, can we execute our playbook script or not here? Then how we can execute it? Playbook, then inventory I. Maybe we added here the one file. We need to the like this. So I think we are going to no. Here you can see the unreachable. Change the message connected to the host such as a identifier. Okay, because we don't have any privileges So it is asking me the password here. What we have to do here? So we need to add here add the pen file. Then we can execute our playbook script here. You can see here the change false. This message failed to the connect to the my host machines. Where is the my host machines? Host machines we have the in our whatever we have the host machines are in our host inventory file. But you can see that it is a permission denied. So let me add that file. First let me clear. Yes, clear. After that, what we have to do here? We need to add the PEM file. Then we are giving to that file permission. Otherwise, we cannot execute our playbook script here. We added the PEM file in our inventory file. You can see here we added here the PEM file here, but you can observe here Ansible sh private key file. So what was the issue here? We have the file permissions issues here. So let me check what we added here, the inventory. Sorry. So in that inventory file, you can see here we did mistake one here. So whatever we added in our group variable, same inventory file we added here. But we need to add here the home directory. Right now where we are in the Ansible user. So what we have to do here, root. So let me in the insert mode. After that, what we have to do here? So we need to the root, then we need to the add here. So we did mistake here. So that's why we are getting an error in our test connections. So let me exit this file. Then what we have to do here? So we have to check first connection here. So let me verify inventory file here. So let me verify, are we so are we going to connect or not my inventory file? Yes, let me check Ansible, sorry. So Ansible, then interactive, then inventory, then web servers. Just I'm checking here the my connections or not here. We are going to connect my web server machine or not. Let's see. So web servers. Let me verify once again. So inventory Ansible, then I inventory, then web servers, then dash ping. So are we getting ping pong result or not here? Let me verify here. Yes, successfully we connected here. What we did mistake here in the inventory file, we did one mistake. That mistake we can say called as a we miss our directory. So how we can execute our already we three rows where we added the files here. You can see the my task we added in the main.yml file. Do we added here the handlers? No, we don't require any handlers concept. So that's why we are not added. Do we require variables? We don't require variables because we already variables in our playbook script. So that's why there is no required for the var. So you can see here the in test. So you can see here you can add here the inventory file and test.yml. But what we did here, so I added here the file. So let me check here. So I added rows, I added the inventory file and site.yml file. So you can add site.yml file into the text, otherwise you can add here like this. After that, what is the purpose of the site.yml file here? So we are going to add it here the host. So what kind of host we are here? So right now I have only one requirement. So I need to connect with my web server machines only, and I need to install the std packages. So that's why I added only one web server machines host here. If we have the all, then what will be happen here? So it will be connect all machines like web server machine, DB server machine, and it will be install the std packages in web server machine as well as in DB server machines. After that, what we did here, inventory. Inventory is nothing but we are going to invoke that file and we are executing our playbook script here. Then how we can execute our playbook script here? Ansible, then playbook. Already we seen this concept in our variable concept. In group variables, host variable, how we can execute it? We can execute it like this. So what is the meaning of I? I is nothing but interactive command. Before going to perform any actions, so we added here the interactive. After that inventory, then site dot while. Let's see, are we going to execute or not my playbook script here? Yes, successfully we are going to execute our playbook script here. So what is the purpose of the roles? Roles is nothing but we can create a folder structure according to the our requirement wise. We can add the playbook script. Suppose if we require the handler, then where we need to the handlers, we need to the handlers in our handlers directory. In our we have the main.yml file, we need to the add it. After that we have the some group variables or any kind of the var where we need to the add it. We need to the add that variables into the var folder. In that var folder we have the one YML file that is called as a main.yml. So you can see here the folder tree structure, rows, sorry, tree, the rows. You can see here the we have the main.yml file. Main.yml file, it is related to the vars only, it is related to the task only, it is related to the handlers only. So we have the all files are the main.yml file. Whatever we require as per requirement wise, we can add handlers, variables, then a task in that main.yml file, particular of the directory. So as per our directory wise, we can add here the playbook script. So what is the roles? Roles is nothing but by using of the roles mm, we can modify it easily our playbook script. Whatever we have the playbook script, that playbook script we are going to convert it into the small chunks. So it is easy to modify, it is a readable, also it is a scalable, and it is a easy to maintain that playbook script here. So suppose whatever we have the requirement, all the requirement wars where we can see wars in our var directory. In that var directory we have the main.yml. Suppose I want to check how many tasks we have the, then we can see the in task directory we have the main.yml. In that main.yml we can see all tasks whatever we are required to perform in our managed node machine. So that's why we are going to use the roles concept here. So that is the we have the Ansible roles concept here. So all concepts we are completed here, which is related to the Ansible. So in upcoming sessions we are going to start our Dockerization. So in real time we have the one concept that is called as a Ansible Tower. Suppose someone is asked in the interview what is the Ansible Tower. At that time, what we have to do? So it is a UI based. So right now, how we can create it the our playbook script? We can create the playbook script in our control node. that control node we are going to execute it, and we are managing all managed node. Same like this, before uh, before control node we have the one Ansible Tower. So that is called as a which is licensed by the Red Hat company, because this is the license best and we need to the purchase it. So that's why you can search on the YouTube. Maybe we will have the some sessions Ansible Tower. So this is the license based. So it's a GUI application. So by using of the each and everything managed node, we can handle it by using of the Ansible Tower. So it some companies use, some companies are not used. So if we have the Ansible Tower, then you can use GUI and you can execute our manage control node playbook script, and we can handle the managed node whatever we have the machines requirement. Suppose I'm having a 10 machines, then we need to the handle it. Who will be handle it? It will be handled from the control node. But before control node, who will handle it? So this is the we can say called as the admin. So it's we can say called as the Ansible Tower will handle the control node. After that, control node will handle the managed node. So already we did architecture in our first sessions. Already we completed that session. So this is the we have the we can say called as a Ansible Tower. You can search on the YouTube or somewhere Google also, anywhere you will get it the some videos or some information. So this is the we have the Ansible sessions. What we learn, let's summarize in our Ansible sessions. So how to configure the managed node. So first we learn the architecture of the Ansible, then what is the configuration management, then after that Ansible introduction. In that Ansible introductions we learn the what is the purpose of the Ansible, why we require the Ansible, then what are the advantages, what are the useful for the Ansible. So each and everything we learn in our Ansible introduction. After that we learn the Ansible architecture. After that we created the one setup. That setup we are going to daily use here. So that is called as the Ansible setup. As per our Ansible architecture wise, we created the Ansible setup. After that, we learned the Ansible adopt command. So we had some adopt command. That command we learned. After that, we learned the Ansible models concept. After that, we learned the YML files. So how we can write it the YML files. Mainly, we have the three sections in the YML file. One is a host section, second one is a variable section, third one is a task section. Apart from that, do we have the any YML files content? No, we don't have any YML file content. So that is called as a YML file. After that, we learn the how to write it the playbooks by using of the YML file. After that, we learn the handlers concept. We learn the tag concept. After that, we learn the register keyword. After that, we learn the debug keyword. After that, we learn the when keyword. What is the when keyword? When keyword is nothing but if whatever we have the condition statement, I want to add it condition statement, then we need to use the when keyword. After that, we learn the variables. What is the variable? Playbook variable, runtime variable, host variable, group variables. All those things we learn practically in our sessions. After that, we learn the Ansible Vault. Vault is nothing but whatever we encrypted Ansible script, then we can convert it encrypted format. After that, Ansible roles we learn. After that, we learn the gather facts. After that, we learn the ignore errors. We can suppose we can handle the error. Suppose if we are having some errors in our playbook concept, then how we can handle it by using of the error handling concept. After that, we just learn the just we introduce the Ansible Tower. What is the Ansible Tower? Ansible Tower is nothing but it is GUI based application. So by using of the Ansible Tower, we can manage the our control node machine. So this is the we have the Ansible classes summary. We completed our Ansible sessions. So in upcoming sessions, we are going to start our Docker. So which is very important. Once we completed the Docker, then we will start our Kubernetes session. And in last sessions, we will start our Git session. So this is our DevOps journey.